Welcome to Business Reporter at the Telegraph Studios. I'm Louise People. And today we're discussing how UK exporters can benefit from government help through UK Export Finance. I'm joined by Louis Taylor, CEO of UK Export Finance. Louis, hello.
Hello, Louise.
Louis, what are the biggest export challenges we're faced with today?
Well, for a company of any size, finance is always a consideration in exporting. But what I always think is that the underlying business opportunity is really the thing that should drive whether a company goes ahead or not, and the financing should follow. So business people know how to run businesses, and particularly for an SME, they're unlikely to have a large finance department, not necessarily well versed in trade finance or export finance, and it can be a bit daunting, but focus on a quality underlying business strategy.
Now, you mentioned a small business there. What would be your advice for those about exporting finance?
Well, one of the first pieces of advice is that they should seek advice, and advice from one of our export finance advisors, who is there to help them to navigate and identify what the issue is and to find a solution for it, whether that's through causing their bank to provide the financing or whether we end up guaranteeing their bank to provide the financing. Those are some of the solutions that can be found.
Now, you mentioned these experts around the country. What are their capabilities and how can we develop and work with them?
Well, pretty much all of them have been bankers before, and they're very experienced in trade and export finance. They know the products, they know the situations, and they've worked with companies before. They don't have a target for revenue, they don't get a commission, and they're not chasing their own market share. They're there to help companies to achieve their own market share ambitions through exports. So these advisors are objective, they're not going to cost you anything, and they're also going to give you good, impartial advice.
Hold on, everything costs something. Surely there's a product on offer here.
Well, in the end, we can offer financing and we can offer insurance. And that is a product that we can do, but we can really help them to get their own private sector provider to sharpen their pencil and provide the finance and insurance necessary in most cases. Where we can't, then we're prepared to look at undertaking that financing and insurance ourselves.
But Louis, you're a government department. Mm-hmm. Why should I and other taxpayers fund these few companies?
Well, the good news, Louise, is that what we do is not a subsidy, and nor does it use a penny of taxpayer money. So our mandate has a requirement to operate at zero net cost to the taxpayer. And we achieve that by charging for the insurance and the financing that we do, and the premium and the interest that we get from that covers our costs and our losses, including the costs of the export finance advisors that I was talking about before, which is why a company won't need to pay for that advice. So we actually have returned, in fact, about £1 billion to the Treasury over the last 10 years from the activities that we undertake. We're there to complement the private sector, not to compete with it, so we don't represent a subsidy or aid in any way.
Can anyone obtain your help?
Well, certainly a company of any size is eligible to obtain our help, but they need to be involved in an export. It needs to have 20% British content, and there has to be some element of private sector failure to provide the necessary finance or insurance.
So you're saying you will help any failing UK export company?
We will help a company where the export order is failing and that export order is viable. Our mission is to ensure no viable British export fails for want of finance or insurance.
So can you give me an example of this?
So we have a company in the UK, an SME called NMS, and they pulled together a consortium that won a contract to build 7 hospitals in Ghana. And the private sector wouldn't finance that contract because of the Ghanaian political risk and also the maturity profile of the loan necessary. We stepped in and we were prepared to finance that transaction, and so we enabled £140 million worth of British exports to go into building 7 hospitals in Ghana, all provided by a consortium of British SMEs.
So how does UKEF fit with other government support?
Well, the government is absolutely determined to bring a whole-of-government approach to supporting companies. But we collaborate very closely, most particularly with UK Trade and Investment, UKTI, and also with the Foreign and Commonwealth Office and with the British Business Bank. The thing that we bring particularly is genuine pounds and pence support, because we have a balance sheet and we're prepared to use that in support of British companies.
Let's move to the future then. Where do you see yourselves at UKEF?
So I think there are 3 key things that we need to work on at UKEF. The first thing is to ensure our support for SMEs covers the whole waterfront. And with 25 export finance advisors, we can't hope to cover the whole waterfront at the moment. So we are working with banks to help leverage their own relationship managers and give the banks our guarantee to use on their own products and ensure those guarantees are available for lots more SMEs. Second thing is, with very large companies, we want to be involved in opportunities a lot earlier, because finance is an important part of procurement, and if we can offer a finance package as part of their bid, we'll help them to win contracts, not just to fulfill contracts that have already been won. And finally, thirdly, we are intending to live up to the government's aspiration for a whole-of-government approach to support for business, and we will be looking to collaborate far more with our counterparts in other departments to bring support to British business.
Certainly sounds like some exciting times ahead. Louis Taylor, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Louise.